Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back again, and today we are talking about the Montana ballot measures, three crucial ballot measures, including an abortion ballot measure, the second abortion ballot measure in this decade, really, since the overturn of Roe v. Wade, this time giving Montanans the right to an abortion. We're going to see how that plays out. So let's talk about the ballot measure, the first one on top, Montana Constitutional Amendment 126. Of course, this ballot measure, if passed, would create a top four primary election system for the House, Senate, governor, and state races, meaning all at-large races. All of these races are indeed at large, and you'll see interesting pattern here. It almost looks exactly like the Senate election. In fact, it actually does look like the Senate. Actually, no, because Hill County did not vote. But obviously, Democrats seem to be more in support of this ballot measure. Taking a look here. 51.1%. They're more in support. Although the yes is at 48.9%. You'll see counties like Silver Bow. You got Deer Lodge County. You got Missoula County. Glacier County, you got Lewis and Clark, Gallatin County. Of course, that is, the College County. That, of course, gives the yes option more momentum there, 56%. It was close in the Senate race there also, but it was very close here. Big Horn, 56%. The county that supported no the most was Garfield County, right here. Yes, it's a pretty big county. 624 votes in total voting no to this ballot measure. This, of course, would establish a top four primary system, and we've talked about the top four primary system in this channel. It's a dumb system. This is of course, a system that Alaska uses. It's, of course, would allow a blanket primary, meaning that Democrats and Republicans would run in the said election in the blanket primary. Top four, that means top four, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, or 3 Democrats, or 3 Republicans, whatever it looks like, would go to the general. And what that would create is a lot of split ticketing. A lot of canceling each other out. And I want to believe that's how Louisiana plays their game. In the jungle primary, I think that's also what they call it. But yeah, this is not a good, it's more preferable for a Democrat to have its own candidate and a Republican to have its own candidate and have them face off each other. But of course, the Democrats like this because they have a chance at getting 2 people on the ticket, and they can rely on the Republicans to split ticket each other. So, of course, it is a measure that is, of course, very critical. 51.1% for the no call, 48.9% for the yes. Obviously, this ballot measure did not pass, thankfully. It would have been a horrible thing if it did. I would say Montana would still go red, but I would say some counties definitely would be more in the toss-up category. But yes, going to the second amendment, the constitutional amendment, require majority vote to win the election. Meaning, if this amendment would pass, it would change the state constitution to say that certain offices can only be won by receiving a majority of the vote and not by a plurality. This would apply to House, Senate, governor, and other state races. Looking at these interesting results, you'll see more conservative counties are sticking out against this. Of course, this means that you'll have to receive a majority of the vote. And meaning that already Republicans, they're not surprised why they're sticking out against this one, because this is a red state already, and you could win it already. It's going to be much harder for Republicans to win Montana if you have to win the majority of a vote, like over 50 or over 60, which I can guarantee you it's going to be difficult in some races. But I'll say 50% would be the, of course, marker if this was passed. And of course, in a lot of elections, it's possible, but close elections. And I also think that most people in general believe that, yeah, you know what, the majority people have spoken. This is what we're getting. It doesn't matter if it's above 50% or below 50%. If it's the majority of people and what they voted on, guess what? It is what it is. But of course, not surprised that 60% voted against this ballot measure. Seeing how unpopular that rhetoric of you have to get certain amount of votes in order to win or get this measure passed is certain to be. We covered that we didn't cover it yet, in the Ohio video, but yeah, there was an Ohio ballot measure that was basically going to establish that was struck down immediately by the, of course, Ohioan people in the ballot measure in August of 2023. Critical ballot measure and trying to stop that abortion measure from getting passed. Of course, the abortion ballot, the pro-abortion base in Ohio rallied together, of course, and they struck it down together. So, are we surprised? Not at all. We kind of knew that the Democrats would kind of use propaganda against it. And there's always a vote of people that saying, hey, that doesn't make sense. Why should we get over 60% to get that ballot measure passed? So that is also interesting, too. The right to abortion. So obviously, this ballot measure would change the state constitution to establish a right for individuals to have access to the procedure. It would also prohibit the government from punishing doctors or those who receive abortions. Obviously, the ballot measure succeeds, 57.8%, a landslide. I am not surprised. Montana has stabilized itself as to be one of the most pro-abortion states at some records. This state really doesn't really care and set limits for abortion. We can even check that out. But interestingly enough, it's a big libertarian state, if you will. Very big libertarian state. It, of course, is... Let's take a look here. Election NYT. Nope. Abortion. But yes, you'll see... Montana, it's in the dark blue, just like Missouri, like we talked about in the last video. It is legal before fetal visibility, and yes, you'll see it has to stabilize itself to be one of those states like California and Maine. It's, of course, in the Constitution, but yeah, it's just unfortunate it had to be that way. But this is Montana, and they're not woke. But they just believe that, hey, this should be accessible to everyone. Why can't it be accessible to everyone? And that's kind of our argument when it comes to that, like, why is the government telling us to not do this? Why is the government telling us not to do that? And there's a lot of Americans that have criticisms to that, where, yeah, the government shouldn't be getting involved in this. And ultimately, that's where most Montanans stay, find their grounds. But then again, Republicans need to really bring the argument about religious liberty. This religious liberty argument, it's a winning issue, where you can swing more of these Christians. Montana's a very religious state. Swing those people, these Christians that are supporting abortion measures, saying, hey, look, Christians abroad shouldn't be paying for something via tax dollars that they don't morally support. That is religious persecution in some ways. You're forcing a certain group to participate in taboo, even though it goes against their customs. This goes against the First Amendment, and that should be spoken out against. this is a winning issue. Republicans can't just spam abortions, murder, abortions, murder, abortions, murder. They do that so much, and by the time they get tired of it, they go, oh, it's no use. It is use. You need to stop saying abortions, murder, because they don't care. They care less. It's a talking point. And even though that talking point may be true, then it's a lot of the country don't agree. But so we need to go and find a different route to prove our point, and that is religious liberty, the right to not force the government not to, of course, modify our religious beliefs because the government wants us to do something. No, the government has nothing to do with our religion, period. So they should get out of it. Like the liberals and the feminists say, get out of our bodies, then we can say, hey, get out of our religion. Government, stop funding Planned Parenthood. Stop funding these abortion things. We need to stop this. It's a violation to our religious rights. So that's the argument we need to establish. That's the argument that we need to bring to the table. So what do you guys think in regards to these ballot measures? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.